Well, hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays. We talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, I'm an ecologist by training, as you may have guessed, and we are back in Enshrouded here in the world of Embervale. And we are currently in the Nomad Highlands. Now, I have just collected some tin again here at our little tin mining spot, close to where the fell monstrosity is. And I noticed to the side here, just past all these little fell statues here, there's a little mine, and if we go down the mine here, well, there is something embedded in the rubble over here. So let's just quickly mine here and see what we get. Oh, that's a shark tooth. That is definitely a shark tooth. There we go, a dull shark tooth at that. Alright, now, dull is relative, because if we look at it, look at those serrations on the edge of that shark tooth there. I mean, it's not dull. That thing will still tear through flesh. And this is a big tooth. This is megalodon size, perhaps. So this tooth definitely belonged to a very, very big shark. Now, why did we only find the tooth here? Why not find the whole skeleton? And that's because, unlike the big creatures whose fossilized bones we've been mining for our arrows, those creatures there, their skeletons were made of bone. Sharks, on the other hand, they are what we call cartilaginous fish, meaning that their skeletons are not made of bone. Instead, it's made of cartilage. And cartilage very, very rarely fossilizes. In fact, there are only a few properly fossilized cartilaginous fish, where you have more than just the teeth and the jaw bones, which do sometimes fossilize. So yeah, that's why we just found this tooth over here. And you can see the piece of limestone that it is attached to. And that's a beautiful, beautiful tooth. We're definitely going to place that in our little museum exhibit when we have that going as well. Now, before we carry on, what are the plans for today? Well, towards the end of today's episode, I'm going to show you guys the progress I've made with the botanical gardens, and I must say I'm quite proud of the progress so far. But we're also going to upgrade our glider, and in order to do that, we need Shroud adhesive. And I know more or less where to find quite a bit of Shroud adhesive. And apart from that, we are probably going to head into the Kindlewaste today as well. So let's turn it into daytime, because well, it is basically nighttime now. And then the reason why I was busy mining tin was because, well, we can actually strengthen the flame here, because we've got enough survivors, we've got the mint mushroom meat, we've got the fossilized bone, we've got the sparks, we've got ammonia glands, we've got tin ore, we now have tin ore, we've got the rooibos, and of course we've got the fell monstrosity head, and as you can see I've killed it a few times in the meantime. So let's strengthen the flame here. Wonderful. But let's see, can we actually make our new armor yet? Yes, indeed, we've got the sharpshooter set, we've got the hunter set, and we also have the plague bringer set that we can make. Now, the plague bringer set, yeah, it does give you generally more time in the shroud, or for example here you do more range damage while you are enshrouded. But I'm not going to go for the plague bringer armor. It looks really, really cool, and it's a nice little flavor. However, my archer wants to stay away from anything related to the fell or the plague. So we're going to avoid this armor like the plague. So it is between the sharpshooter set and the hunter set, and I'm going to just mix and match, I guess, here. So we're going for 3 hunter armor pieces and 2 sharpshooter armor pieces. Alrighty, now I think I'm ready. Now, I have explored this bit a bit off screen, and I believe right over there is a good spot to go find the Shroud adhesive. So let's head on over to our little base over here, our little flame altar over here, and I will meet you when we get there. And here we go, we are nearing our sinkhole that we're going to drop into, and as mentioned previously, this being limestone, it does get eroded by rainwater, and as a result, it very often collapses and causes these, well, in this case, a massive, massive sinkhole. Oh my word, there are lots of depth dwellers down there. But there should also be a lot of little shroud tentacles. I think they're called the flayers, but there should be quite a few of those, and we should be able to get quite a lot of shroud adhesive down here. But let's just take out these depth dwellers, if we can, from range. There is one directly below me that is busy attacking me. There we go. Of course, the tentacles trailing underneath like a massive jellyfish or blue bottle or Portuguese man of war. There we go. We have taken care of all the ones around here, I think. Oh, no, never mind. There's another one. Sneaky, sneaky. Just gonna take that one out, and then there is one just making its way out from behind the boulder over there. Of course, the tops of the depth dwellers filled with some kind of gas that is really, really lightweight, probably something like hydrogen. I think most likely. I was thinking helium, but you know what? It's more likely that it is filled with something like hydrogen, which could possibly be produced through some kind of biological means. Now, I did just see something glowy down here. Oh, there's a flare. That's in fact what we are looking for. That's just a shroud timer, but there we go. There's a flare right over there. That's what we are looking for. These tentacles sticking out from under the ground, and they give us shroud adhesive. And as you can see, the area seems to be teeming with them, which makes me wonder, are they part of some larger organism that's actually underneath the ground here, and we just have a whole bunch of its tentacles sticking out from underneath? So it most likely is some kind of ambush predator, because it's not really moving to hunt its prey. Instead, it is just sitting in one spot. You can see there's another tentacle up ahead here. And the moment, oh, there are two actually. And the moment you get close to it, what does it do? It tries to whack you. There we go, come on, whack me. Come on. There, like that. Swings around, tries to hit us, and in the process, and hopefully either stun or kill us. And then most likely will be able to digest us. So we're just going to destroy a few of these. So yeah, this spot where we currently are, in this massive sinkhole here, once you get rid of all the depth dwellers down here, a great spot to find the Shroud Flayers for your Shroud adhesives. And in fact, there's another one right over here. Actually, two. Oh, that is just marvelous. Three, actually. There's another one directly behind here. And another one. Yeah, we are really in the pound seats now with the Shroud Flayers, with all the Shroud adhesives. And another one. It just does not end. You see, I really wonder whether it isn't perhaps all just part... Oh, something is shooting at me. There's a... There we go. There's a fell archer. Hello there. Two can play this game. There we go. There is one that wasn't shooting at us, but it is a melee one. There we go. It is also dead. But yeah, as I mentioned, I really think that the Shroud Flayer tentacles here are all just part of some kind of underground creature with just the little... with just its tentacles actually sticking out. I would not be surprised if that is the case, let's put it that way. Something like a massive sea anemone. It definitely behaves like it. It is an ambush predator. I don't however think that it actually has some kind of venom in its tentacles. I think it just gives you basically blunt force trauma, whacking you over the head with its tentacle. But it definitely is a very interesting creature, and one you may very often have difficulty finding. We're just going to get rid of this fell crab, mushroom crab. There we go, just going to whittle his health down. And there we go, he should be exploding soon. Wonderful. Some more ammonia glands. You can never have too much of the ammonia glands. Let's grab those, and I also believe I did shoot 3 ammonia glands off. There's 1, 2, and 3 extra. And another Shroud Flayer right over here. There are also some depth dwellers in the area. We just have to keep an eye out for them. They should be attacking us soon. Yeah, I do believe. There it is. Remember, we can also just block it and shoot it right back at them. And there we go, they did. So that problem, or those problems, are sorted. Right, now, we do need to find a way out of the shroud. Now, if there's anything I have learned, it is follow the paths. Because the paths generally tend to lead somewhere, possibly to our salvation. However, at the moment, it has just led to these little fell vicious vines over here that we can also just get rid of. Oh, there's another fell mushroom crab right over there as well. May as well just shoot its ammonia glands off and then do some damage to it. And there we go. They're not too difficult once you get the hang of their attacks. However, we are running short on time. I should have drunk a Shroud survival flask. There was a bit of a potentially fatal mistake there. And now I've lost the road. Ah, here it goes. Alright, let's see. Does this lead anywhere safe? Almost looks as though we could potentially climb this hill over here. And in the process, find a safe spot to teleport from. It does look like right up here, there is no shroud. There we go. Right over here. There we go. There's a nice little pocket. A little shroudless pocket. So of course now we can teleport home. And now what I have been waiting for, the ability to craft the extraordinary glider. We've got the shroud wood, we've got the leather, we've got the linen, we've got the shroud adhesive now. And voila. Now I think the only glider better than that one is in fact the ghost glider, which we don't have access to yet. That is in the Kindlewastes, so we are going to head to that biome soon. But we're not going to get to that point today yet. And now I think it is actually time to head over to the Kindlewastes. So I'm just going to craft a new flame altar to just place down when we get there if it becomes nighttime. But let's head on to the ancient spire in the Nomad Highlands and make our way towards the Kindlewastes. Of course it is raining, which means that our stamina will probably take a knock here because we are going to become wet. But oh, I love this extraordinary glider. Ghost glider, as I've mentioned, I think it is slightly better. But this is already a big improvement on the glider we had, the advanced glider we had up to now. And here we go. Very, very quickly, we go here from a limestone to a sandstone-dominated environment. So let's quickly talk about sandstone and sand, of course. Now, sandstone is just sand that had been compressed and turned to stone, lithified, where sand is just sandstone that has weathered down. So it's this constant cycle of sand generally being deposited in some kind of aquatic environment, in the ocean, for example, or in rivers, in water bodies, basically, and then over time being compressed under a lot of weight and then turning into sandstone. And then over time, when the sandstone is exposed like it is here, it can be weathered, and of course then it turns into sand. Now what have we got here? Are these aren't grasshoppers, these are little beetles. They're scarabs. Now, interesting they are called scarabs because it's not real. That is kind of some kind of scarab shape over here. A golden jewel scarab beetle found in the Kindlewaste, used as fishing bait, of course it is. Especially useful to catch rare fish, most likely because they are so shiny. The fish will be attracted to them and, of course, eat them in the process. Now, there are quite a few around here. There's another cluster over here and another cluster over here. Again, we're not going to harvest everything. We just harvested that one cluster that is good enough for us for now. What we are going to also harvest, though, are these new resources. Sand, which we can harvest here. Now, this is fine sand. Interesting. Okay. Do we have any coarser sand around as well? Or is this all just fine sand? It's all still fine sand. This is normal sand. There we go. Okay. Interesting, the mixture of fine sand and normal sand we have here. But, of course, we also have sandstone, which we're just going to also quickly mine. Just going to mine into the rock face here. Grab some sandstone, and this will all be very useful for me to get and use when I make the Kindlewaste area of our little botanical gardens that you will see in a moment. Don't worry, I have not forgotten. I must show you guys that, at least the progress so far. There are no trees yet, but I have started making the landscape a bit. Now we also have sulfur over here. This is a very nice sulfur deposit. Lots and lots of sulfur in the Kindlewaste, so this is the area where you would find it, and this is, I think, the first spot you can actually find sulfur. I must say, I'm not necessarily looking forward to the Kindlewaste. It is a more challenging area, which is fine. I'm happy with that, but it is a potentially dangerous area, and I mean, there already is going to be our first obstacle. The scavengers holding this tunnel over here. But before we make our way there, let's just quickly harvest some trees, because, you know, we are here for the nature after all. Ooh! Hello? I think that's a saddlebeak sailor, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, they're cool. We're definitely going to grab some of them when we actually need to domesticate animals for our botanical gardens as well. Now, what we have here, I believe, are yucca. So it gives us palm wood logs. So yucca having relatively soft logs. But what we are really after are the yucca fruit. And yeah, we can kind of see the flowers, the inflorescences getting ready at the top there. So the yucca, they produce these flowers, these white flowers, and they've got a moth living in them, a yucca moth, which is highly, highly specialized for life with the yucca, because the female moths will congregate in these yucca flowers and then lay their eggs there. And we're just going to grab some Kindlewaste flowers as well. We'll chat about them, I'm sure, at some point as well. But the yucca plants, they've got the moths that lay their eggs in the flowers, and in the process then they will pollinate the flowers. And of course the yucca plant goes, yay, thank you for that, appreciated, yeah, you can stay in me a bit and eat me a bit. So yes, they will be eaten by the caterpillars of the yucca moth, but it's fine because they get pollinated in the process. So it's a sacrifice they are willing to make. Now there is one particular individual up there that I'm not very keen for. Oh, before I forget, I actually have 9 skill points I can use. Well, well, well. I'm going to go for Ranger. I think this is a good skill to get because I am a ranged individual after all. And you know what, just to make it a little bit easier for me to survive, I am going to get shiny plates over here. And I'm going to get heavy plates as well. And constitution. So just a little bit into the tanky side of things here. Hopefully that will also just make it slightly easier for me to survive. And then we're just going to wait for that berserker that is up there to just come into view. There he is. Alright, in the meantime, while we're waiting for that guy to come into range, let's just shoot that ranged individual up there so he can't give us any troubles. We'll shoot the wolfie down here just so he doesn't give us any troubles either. There we go, we finally got a hit in on him. He's probably going to come running out the entranceway there. There we go, there he comes. Miss. Oh, I love Blink. Miss. Miss. And now he's dead. Brilliant. Love it. Right, that berserker has killed me in the past, so that's why I was a little bit skeptical of coming through here. I mean, it is the way through, but still, I wasn't very keen to do it. Now, there is also a wolfie coming for us here. We'll just set him on fire, block his attacks, and there we go. I think that's it. I think that was all of them. Alright, now it is nighttime, and I'm not particularly keen about exploring at night, so what we're going to do is we're just going to place our flame altar down here, and we'll come back in the daytime. And here we go, we are back. So let's deactivate this altar, because we're not going to need it anymore. We are going to place a new one wherever we end up today. And let's have a look. I think, oh wow, this is we could actually have left it right there because wow, this is a lovely lapis lazuli spot. So a spot to mine some lapis lazuli. Oh, that's an absolutely stunning semi-precious stone. It definitely counts as one of my favorites. And one of the towns we are going to encounter later, East Lapis, is named after lapis lazuli, which we have right over here. Now, lapis lazuli is this deep, dark blue color, but usually with flecks of golden color in there. And lapis lazuli, the word, comes from the Persian word for this gem, laswad, and that is then the base for the word blue in a whole bunch of languages. Think azure, for example, has its root in lapis or laswad, the Persian name for this very, very nice stone. But now we should be able to get pigment, blue, like this deep blue pigment, by taking this lapis lazuli here and grinding it down into, well, ultramarine pigments. And Johannes Vermeer, the famous Dutch painter, used lapis lazuli in his paintings. So that's the ultramarine color he used in his paintings, came from ground down lapis lazuli. And interestingly enough, I mean, yes, there are some of his paintings you can clearly see the blue, like the Milkmaid, for example. There it is, this blue, this vivid blue color is clearly evident. But he also used it quite early in paintings and then painted over it, just so that that lapis lazuli there could give the rest of the painting a nice ultramarine undertone, which is quite cool. I mean, that is a very, very interesting way of doing things, taking this quite expensive pigment and using it under everything else. Now, we are encountering new Shroud over here, which means we should be able to get some new Shroud resources. I can see some glowy sand, so let's first go mine that. Let's keep an eye out because we are in the Shroud after all, so I would expect some new critters as well, or at least some of the old ones to make a return. But there we go, we have got Shroud sand, which is basically just sand that I guess the Shroud has seeped into. We're going to take these little beetles over here as well, these little scarabs. We're going to collect them because we are rescuing them from the Shroud. I don't think they are long for the world if they are running around in the Shroud. So we're rescuing them, putting them in our pockets, and we're going to translocate them somewhere safer. Well, this is quite a nice patch of Shroud sand. I know I have had difficulty finding Shroud sand in other playthroughs of mine, as I shortly after the update when I came through this area, yeah, I had difficulty finding Shroud sand, but this is a nice little spot for us to mine it. There are some better spots, I'm sure, but for now, yeah, I'm glad we got this. And there appears to be some more over there as well, a little bit right in front here. We're just going to ignore that. We're not going to mine all of it now, What we are going to grab, though, are some of these mushrooms, because there we go, we're getting some new resources here as well. Brittle shroud flakes, and all of these are giving us some interesting pigments that we can make at the coloring station. So I'm definitely going to have a look there and see what color we can actually dye our armor that we are wearing. Again, we're not harvesting all of these fungi, we are leaving a lot of it. We are going to harvest this one still, though, and we're going to leave the rest to do their thing. And yes, indeed, quite a bit of shroud sand here, and interesting glowy mushrooms up here as well. Can we harvest you? I don't think we can. No, it doesn't seem like we can. Let's see what happens if we chop you. Oh, we get something. Oh, we get brittle shroud flakes from you as well. Okay. But this is very interesting. The glowy shrooms here, definitely trying to attract something to it. Most likely to get the spores stuck on those little critters that come to it. Most likely a moth or a smaller insect that's attracted to it. And then in the process, oh, they do resemble morels very nicely though. Yeah, definitely moral based, these fungi over here. But as the critters then come and brush up against them, they get spores stuck to them. And then as they fly around, those spores will then drop off and hopefully disperse these little fungi to a suitable spot. But you know what, I think we're just going to make our way up to where, oh, I think right over here. In fact, I was just about to say somewhere, it seems as though the Southern Caravans stopped. I think this is the Southern Caravans campsite. It is definitely one of the two caravans that came through. I think this is Queen Yasmina's one, so I think that was the Southern Caravan, if I'm not mistaken. But unfortunately, as you can see, quite a few of the people didn't make it. There's a little skeleton sitting in the chair there. Some more scarabs running around all over the place. And of course, a lot of bats that have taken up residence in these tents. But you know, I think this is a good spot to actually place down a flame altar. We can carry on from here next time. But there is something I do still want to show you. Oh wait, we can't place it down here because there are bats around. And we can't place it if there are enemies nearby. There we go. So we can place it right over here. We will carry on from here next time. But first, let me go show you the Embervale Botanical Gardens. And here we are. Now, you had already previously seen this section here. We're just waiting. The waterfall should be running soon. As we load in, the water actually will arrive. And there we go. The waterfall is starting to fall and coming down. Voila. Alrighty. And of course, then it flows into this little stream over here, like that. And it makes its way down into this little pool of ours over here. Now, a lot of this I still need to fill with vegetation. Obviously, it's still barren. But what I've been working on in the meantime, not the hobbit hole up there, but I have been working on this landscape right over here. This was all Nomad Highlands. It was a very steep-sided area. But we now have a little path running down the little mountainside here. And this is our Springland section. We are going to have a little stream flowing right up here. I've built a little bridge here. We should have a little stream flowing into this little pool over here. Nice little waterfall on the left-hand side here. And again, Springland's soil all along here. And if we make our way up the little path here, right up here, we head into the Revelwood section of the Botanical Garden. So this path is going to snake around a bit. And we've got a little shroud area over there. We've got some wells to supply us with water. But yeah, this is the Revelwood section. And of course, then we're going to have the Nomad Highland section somewhere as well. We're going to have the Kindlewaste section as well. I'm tempted really to put the Kindlewaste up here in this section over here. And then have the Nomad Highlands perhaps to this side over here. Because we do have some natural vegetation, some natural Nomad Highlands vegetation here with the acacias growing and the shrubs growing here. All we need are a few baobabs and so to make this complete. And then this area at the bottom here, I'm really tempted to make the Vale Water Basin area, which we will encounter right at the end. And then the top area up there, I can probably make that the Albany Summits area. And of course, for each of these zones, we are going to have the relevant animals also being present. That's the idea at least. So we'll have some goats over here. We'll have some hop hares in this area as well. In the Springlands area. Then we'll have some fey deer up here in the Revelwood section up here. We'll have in the Nomad Highlands, we will have our redtail, our flightless redtails, little chickens running around here. We'll have in the Kindlewaste section, we'll have the sailors. In the Albany Summit section, we'll have the fizzy goats and of course the yaks as well. And then I'm not sure what we can tame in the capybaras we can tame in the Vale Water Basin area. They'll be running around the lower lying area over here. So yeah, this is the botanical garden so far. We're making progress. I obviously still need to cultivate all the plants to place in here, and we do need to tame a lot of animals to also place them into the botanical gardens. Well, I guess then it becomes a botanical and zoological garden. But yeah, into the gardens we are building over here. But right, that is where we are going to end today's episode, everybody. So thank you for coming along on our journey to the Kindlewaste. Next time we will explore a little bit further. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, please pop them in the comments below. And of course, on Tuesday I will be back, but not with Star Rupture, as mentioned in the community post there. I am still contemplating at this point in time what I will be playing on Tuesday. Of course, if you would like to see more content like this, please do subscribe. I release 2 videos a week, or I do my best to release 2 videos a week with nature-themed gaming content. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!